The following program deals with a controversial subject. The theories expressed are not the only possible interpretation.
The viewer is invited to make a judgment based on all available information.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another members-only hangout, EFAP chat. Basically, this is the last piece of content that I'll be putting up from home base for a couple days. So we're not going to have our Wednesday show or our Saturday show. So I wanted to, do one last thing for the members, give a little bit of content for you guys. This is doing these members only things I need to do more of to say thank you for the members. So as we do more of them, they'll turn into bigger and better things and stuff like that. Tonight's one, I wanted to come on and talk about New York Comic Con. I wanted to talk about the blind bag madness that is about ready to hit us. It's already started a couple weeks ago. I think it kind of started. It was bubbling, and now it's getting ready to, boil over. So we'll kind of go over that. But, I saw a post. Shout out to Trolls Comics on. I saw a post he did on his IG that I want to talk about. So before I get into this, I want to explain something. So we're in this new world of the blind bag, right? And it all kind of started, a couple of years ago with Whatnot, them doing their X-Men 97 packs, their Whatnot packs, them learning how to create these packs, these comics, how to fulfill them in a way, make sure the fulfillment process isn't damaging them, making sure that the packaging is good, making sure that it gets to the buyer or the retailer in good condition. Those are all things that are tough, and they're doing it on a smaller level. So in my opinion, I think that I've always said that, shout out to Jack DeMeo, who's always had that in his head. I mean, all the way back in the day from early CBSI days, I remember talking to Jack about sports cards, and every once in a while it would come up about how it would be cool if there was a way to do that for comics. And Jack, kind of looked at what had been happening throughout the years. We had Image and Skybound kind of do their early mystery packs for their anniversary issues for The Walking Dead and for Image, which, kind of the forerunner. And then Whatnot, then the Harley Quinn bags, and I think it was the New 52 number ones. I remember there was a point where DC did some. And then years go by, nothing really happens. Few here and there, and like Panini did some stuff, small levels. And when Jack and Whatnot, came together, and Jack kind of talked about, hey, let's try this. They did it with the X-Men 97 packs. They made it better with the next 3 iterations that they did, figuring out ways to have boxes and cases and keep them in good condition. And the packs are really nice, and the different types of treatments for the covers, the foil, the gold foil, the autograph, the sketch, the prismatic, which I love, taking from the card world and doing a really good job at it. They still do a great job at it, but that's on like a little, it's on a big scale, but not a 200,000 Battle Beast blind bag scale, right? So Skybound comes along. They say, hey, we're going to do a Battle Beast blind bag. They do 200,000 of them. Crazy. It goes out. It does well. When those go out, it would have went off without a hitch if it wasn't for a little comic book drama that popped off where retailers were opening them early and selling them on live platforms. One of those retailers was Trolls Comics, and he kind of took a little bit of a beating there for doing so. And he basically came out and he said, hey, listen, there's no rules saying that you can't open these or you can't sell them. You can't ship them to the customer, or you can't put them in the customer's hands before date of sale date, which is what it said. And we talked about that. It went out into the to the comic book world. It was talked about in front of the camera, behind the camera. It was talked about in, chats here, group chats there. It was talked about at cons. Hey, what are your thoughts on this? Did you see this? And the reason why is because blind bags are the next thing. I mean, it's such a big part of our hobby moving forward. And that caused Lunar to say, hey, we have to make some rules of this. Good on Lunar. Lunar puts out a rule recently. Moving forward, all blind bags, you cannot even open them before date of sale. You can't ship them before date of sale. So this is for moving forward for all blind bags. Trolls Comics comes out and he says, I will follow these rules. This is what we need. And he's been a proponent for it. And a lot of respect to him for doing so. He put out an IG post that was very interesting. And I want to kind of follow on with that. Let's go ahead and watch this real quick. Here we go.
It's crazy people want to run around and run their mouth and say Trolls Comics is a hypocrite because I opened up blind bags early before. You guys got to realize, man, some of you are like, fresh out the womb fucking doing this shit. And for years, I've been doing, pre-sales on new comic book day stuff. Okay. Never got in the customer's hands until the street date. So the blind bags, okay, there was no rule on there. So, of course, me and a bunch of other people were ripping them. And as soon as I got the email from Lunar saying that, you can't rip them, which they waited till Saturday to do it, I stopped. Okay. There's a couple other shops that, they're like, I'm now that Lunar put out a big rule, we're not ripping them early. You know what I mean? There wasn't a rule in place before. Now there's a rule. Comics Elite, me, a bunch of other big stores did it too. Because there was nothing in place. It's like going outside, and I don't smoke, but everybody's smoking, and they said, "Hey, there's about to be a rule." There was no rule in place, but now there's a rule. There's a fucking rule, and so I go and my kids are sick, right? So I'm up late, dealing with that, and I go on these whatnot shows. And the new thing now is I'm going to keep running these until the platform shuts me down. So that's where they're going with it. So now they know there's a rule. They're just, Billy Badass in it now. Like, I'm going to do it. And another big thing, somebody was like, oh, they're going to shut your account down. And somebody was like, I don't even have an account. I get it from a big store. They'll never find out from who. So that's another thing, man. Like, how's somebody going to get in trouble if, they don't even have an account? Like, how are you going to go and tell them that they're not going to have their stuff early when you don't even know who it is giving it to them? I don't know where we go from here with the blind bags, but the way they're doing it now is just not working. And logistically to make it sure, even if you were going to have it set up where it didn't get to comic stores until Wednesday morning, it's just, logistically just getting all the comics out to everybody. It should be a pain in the ass. So you tell me, guys, in the chat, down below, what would you do? How would you handle this?
So great question, right? Great question. He's right. That's an important thing, especially back in the day when it was mostly brick and mortar stores, right? Brick and mortar stores need their comics a couple days early to get them ready to, if they bag and board books, bag and board them, to sort them, to put it in their box holders first, like all that type of stuff. So logistically, he's right. You can't send them to them the day of. They're not going to all get there the day of. The data sale rule is, in my opinion, probably the best way to go about it. But you just have to hold people accountable. And here's the other thing that he's right about. A lot of these live sellers that go on, and we've talked about this before, they're not necessarily retailers, and they're not necessarily the ones that put the orders in for these blind bags. They probably got them from their store that put the orders in. And you can't get them in trouble because they're not a retailer. They don't care. So you're just going to have to, you can't get mad at that. You just have to take that one on, you know, for the team. Like, take that one on the chin. That's something you're just going to have to deal with. There's going to be some guys that are going to open them early, trying to get the most money for them. And it happens to the card world all the time. You know, some guys will get their stuff early. They immediately go to sale with them. And if you're a retailer, you can get in trouble for that. If you're not, you know, how do they bust you? So that's the thing. I think that they're just going to have to hold retailers accountable and say, if you do this, you can no longer get your stuff early. You're going to get it late now, and that's going to hurt your sales across for everything, not just blind bags. You know, you're not going to get your early privileges. And then KeenSpot's going to have to, or whoever the publisher is, they're going to have to hold those people accountable too, and say, hey, those retailers can't buy from us directly. How many of them will do that? I mean, who knows? What's more important, letting somebody break the rules or money? That's always the question. So we have the Mark Spears blind bags happen. Battle Beast set the standard, 200,000 blind bags, kind of basically go off without a hitch for the most part. Great condition, great packaging. Everybody loves them. You know, of course, there was the big clutch iteration where he did something special. He did like a hobby version, which was all the rage. It was a fun thing. Now Mark comes in and Mark doubles that 200,000, almost 350,000 blind bags. That is a lot. And especially when it comes to fulfilling those blind bags as a printer, right? This hasn't been a thing. On a regular basis, printers haven't been having to, you know, print the books and then sort them and then put them in bags for blind bags. You know, Mark's blind bags were originally supposed to, the date of sale was originally supposed to be 10/1, October 1st. It got pushed back to October 8th. And I remember when that happened, I remember thinking like, oh man, what a nightmare. Like, this means that they're going to get lost in the shuffle of New York City Comic Con, which is crazy. There's so much stuff going down. This is a bummer. And then we pivoted and we said, you know what? Let's turn it into promotion. We'll do a midnight event the Tuesday before with stores across the nation that aren't going to be at New York Comic Con, that can do a, you know, a cosplay contest, bands, you know, sales. And we'll bring them on the show with Mark, and we'll do giveaways, and we'll have fun things, and we'll go across the country. It was going to be a blast. And then we said, not only that, we found out that a bunch of big retailers are going to be having big setups at the con, you know, for Mark Spears, selling Mark Spears Monsters Blindbags, you know, do cool stuff. And then it was like, well, if that's going to happen, we can do some really cool promotion. And I was going to get 100 blind bags, take them to the con, and give them away for free. It was going to be awesome. We said, this is going to be great. A week before the con and the date, we find out from the printer says, hey, we don't feel confident that we're going to be able to give you the best randomization possible. So we need an extra week. And there's nothing you can do about that. You just got to say, okay, you know, unfortunately the way it is. But at the same time, we thought, what would we rather have as a collector of this IP? I would rather have the randomization be great. So if I go buy 50 bags, I'm going to get 30 different covers or 35 different covers. You know, I'll get a couple duplicates, but I would rather have that than buying 50 bags and getting 6 different covers. So we all said, you know what? It's a bummer. And then this grumbling started happening behind the scenes. People started complaining that I was going to be giving away blind bags at the con. And that meant people were going to be getting the books early. 100 people were going to be getting the books early. And this was a problem. And nobody should get them early. And then we find out that some people have them already. A couple of retailers got them sent early. before they found out there was going to be an issue, the shipping process started, and a couple retailers got them early through KeenSpot. Then it started getting crazier. Oh man, people are pissed. We talked about it on the other night, Saturday Night Comic Book Drama Alert. International Comics Josh had a post. He put out a post, a really big post. Had a ton of engagement. KeenSpot came in and commented on it, and answered some questions, explaining what happened, which is good. But it would have been also nice if there was there really isn't a news spot where you can get this information from, or you can send this information from, that's big enough to warrant you doing it. Like Bleeding Cool is a news spot. The Comics Beat's a news spot. ICV2 is a news spot. But I don't think it could be wrong, but I don't think that they matter as much anymore in the terms of that's where you get your information from. I think most people get their information from social media and content, YouTube content, and their comic book shop, their local store. So it would have been cool, to have a place to send this out. Or maybe we should have just created... Well, there is places, and we need to key in on those places more. Those places like Cover Price, Key Collector, they can start putting out news bits. And they have a big group of people they can send those news releases, those to. And that's important. Hopefully in the future, that'll be something that carries on. But most people get their information from content and social media. And so anyways, people started getting angry. And then the first person jumped up on Whatnot. We saw a person selling. Lunar came out, made a post. Before that, Lunar comes out and makes a post. Nobody can open up these bags. You can't even open them anymore. Good. They made a rule. That's a good thing. So this is all new ground here. Now, I want to know what you guys think. Just like Trolls Comics said, right? I want to know what you guys think. This was a post that Trolls Comics made the other day. You have all these sellers on Whatnot that are scheduled to sell Mark Spears Blindbags. Most of them, I would bet, are people that just made the sale early back when the date of sale was set to the 8th, and it was just a placeholder. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know if anybody else is going to break date of sale and sell them over the next week. There's been a couple that we've seen, and like Troll said, most of them are probably just getting them from the retailer who got them early, and you can't really, hold those people to task because they're not retailers. We'll see how that plays out. New York Comic Con is coming up. It's a bummer that I'm not going to be able to give away, free blind bags. That would have been a lot of fun. It's going to make life a lot easier for me at New York Comic Con. Might get to go to a Rangers game now. I know the home opener is on Sunday. That would be sweet. So, but, I want to know also from the other creators out there what your thoughts on this, because it's getting ready to get really crazy. Once they hit, and if everything turns out great and the randomization is good, man, these could be so much fun. They're going to be a blast. Hopefully there's no more problems with this. But if there is, this is something that they'll learn for the next time, for December's blind bags, or the next publisher that's doing a blind bag. I know DC's KOs are hitting right now, I believe. So I heard, I did see that Razor did do a video talking about this, and I haven't watched it yet, so I wanted to do a members only content with it. So let's go ahead and give our boy Razor a shout out and a view here, and check out his content. He's got it says here, Blind Bag Meltdown, the drama before release day. Razor rant. He's known for his Razor rants. Here we go. sec here, guys. Hold on here. Administrator. Yes. Okay. Sorry about that, you guys. Boom. Okay, here we go. Let me just bring this down a little bit. This down a little bit. All right.
What it do, comic book gurus? It's your boy Razor Comics, and we have breaking news coming in from the front desk. Mark Spears blind bag drama. Or is it? Play the clip.
All right, well, I appreciate that. Thanks for the reality check. I appreciate that.
Oh, it's from our show the other night.
Trust me, I know, Mark. It wouldn't be like that.
So basically, at that point, I'm guessing that somebody was saying to him, "Hey, man, you're going to get in trouble for this. Don't do this." And he kind of like the thought process in my head is he's kind of like, I know Mark. I've done something with Mark. Mark's my friend. I'm not going to get in trouble for this.
I could tell you real quick what was being said because I was in that actual chat during that exact moment. There were a few guys from what used to be the Mark Spears Monsters Discord, the exclusive Discord for him.
Yep.
There were a few of the members there in that chat.
By the way, that Discord, from what I hear, has really just turned into a shit show over there. It's a bummer.
And because, of course, the minute this guy started posting that he was doing rip and ships, a couple people reported into the Discord that this is happening. So a few of us went over there, and I chimed in, and I just said, because I kind of, like I said, I think I dealt with him a few times. And so I just said, dude, don't do this. I said, there's a letter that went out. I said, there's going to be big problems if you run a rip and ship.
Oh, no. Big problems. If you run a rip and ship, call it all cult members. Call it all Mark Spears cult members. I mean, Discord members. We got drama. Unite. Everybody unite for Mark Spears cult members. I mean, Discord server. Somebody is ripping before we got our rip. Is it drama, jealousy, or just overreaction? We're going to get into it today, guys. Do me a huge favor. Smash the like button before we get going.
3.
Drop a comment and subscribe to the channel because it really helps out.
Yeah, go check out.
Are you ready? Because I'm ready.
Skoden.
Skoden.
So basically, Mark had a Discord that he had. It wasn't his Discord. It was a Discord created by some other people. And Mark joined the Discord and would jump in there and, shoot the shit with the guys, and his fans would go there, and but I was never a part of it. I think I joined it, but I've never been in there. I maybe would have said hello once. I'm just not a Discord person. We have our own Beyond Wednesdays Discord. I need to be better about it and utilize it more. But Discords can get really, really dark quick, man. They can turn into a shit show. And from what I hear, that Mark Spears Discord really turned sour quick. So hold on here.
Back with another Razor rant. Comic book community. Your boy Razor Comics is back with another Razor rant. And this time we're talking about drama? Huh? Is this really
Does that mean Razor's back doing drama?
drama? Does this constitute as drama? A little alert for drama? Now, I know that we're all hyped for the blind bags. Don't get me wrong. I love a good blind bag. Follow me on Whatnot October 10th for some Marvel Whatnot packs that I'll be dropping. But in the meantime, we have these Mark Spears blind bags. It's been blind bag mania lately, guys. I'm not a blind bag hater. Matter of fact, I'm quite the opposite. I enjoy blind bags. I think it's actually bringing back the hobby. It's fun. It's exciting. There's something about ripping a pack. It's nostalgic. It brings you back to the old days of Garbage Pail Kids collecting when you sat around and you rip packs. It's fun. Rip packs. Combine that with comic book collecting, ripping. You don't know what you're going to get. You might pull something cool. That is fun. Now, the drama is not about the pushback as far as when this comic book is supposed to come out. No, my friends. This comic book is supposed to come out October 1st. It's been pushed back for printing reasons, just like it normally. We pretty much expected it. Over 350,000 copies are being produced. Foils is randomized. A lot of things are going on, and we knew it was going to be pushed back, right? That happens. Here's another thing that happens, guys. Spoiler alert.
Holy cow, that's long.
And spoiler alert, breaking news just in, comic book retailers will get their shipments in early. Huh? Is that breaking news? Is that a spoiler alert? No, it's not.
Amen. Good call.
People are amazed that retailers are getting their blind bags early just because the date has been pushed out a couple of weeks. You don't think that there's been blind bags already sent out to major retailers who buy major quantities? I'm talking about big time. Like if you're buying drugs, these guys are the whales.
Well, he's kind of wrong on that. No, at this point, no retailers, or at the time as of today, I believe they might be getting them today. But when Razor, if he dropped this before today, which is the 7th, Lunar hadn't shipped anything out yet. The only people that got them were a few retailers, like 6. Some of them weren't even retailers, unfortunately. 6 people got their shipments early, and those were just people that bought directly from KeenSpot. That's it. So he's kind of wrong about this. Nobody has gotten those bags early.
They're first in line, right? And that's what this is. This is a drug. Give me that. Give me that blind bag. I need to snort it and inject it directly into my vein. So what is happening is we want our drugs. We want our dope, right? This is a dope game, guys. This is exactly how a dope game works. This is the comic game that's going on with the blind bag right now. So you want your dope, right? A dope dealer is going to say this. Hey, I have some retailers, some sellers. I'm the distributor. I have some sellers, middlemen who I slang to. But there are some pretty big ones that buy for me in bulk, in quantity. So when I get my shit, I'm selling to them first.
That's not what happened here. Not at all.
I'm giving them their shit first. Hey, guess what? I got some new dope on the street. It's really good new dope. I want you to release this. I'm going to give you some new dope, right? The distributor, in this case, and in all cases, a distributor's job is to get you their product as fast and as much as possible, period, guys.
And by the way, the distributor isn't who sent out these early issues either. So
now, if you are amazed that retailers already have their hands on some of these blind bags, then I don't know where the hell you've been. This is not new. Local comic book shop day was just the other week, a couple weeks ago. People on Whatnot were selling those books days before local comic book shop day. Nobody cried. Nobody shed one fucking tear for your local comic book shop. For a whole business, not one artist, no. An industry that's built around bringing in new readers and rewarding the readers that show up every week. What this was a blind bag for an artist, and people got upset that they didn't get their blind bags first. Oh, that other people were ripping before them. Oh, shame on you. KeenSpot, call them. Lunar, do something. Lunar.
Come on, Razor. Come on, buddy.
Did you say that?
That's not the case. At least with this one. I mean, yeah, I guess you could say that there are some people that are bitching and complaining about stupid shit, which we'll talk about at some point, I imagine. But I think that for this, at least my thought process, and this is another reason why I want to hear what you guys think. And I'm watching other content creators and other people talk about it, other people on IG or social media, Twitter. I'm biased, obviously, right? And so for me, I know how much Mark wants people to all enjoy this at the same time. He wants people to all open them on the same day, trade with each other, not spoil anything, because that's to him is a big deal. So I want that for Mark. I want to see Mark really enjoy and That was one of his whole things. That's why he did so many covers. You know, he wants to really get people into the shops and have them trade with each other. And hey, what did you get this week? You got any duplicates? I'm looking for this one. Did you get one of these? You know, ask their friends. The Mark Spears collecting community is exactly that. There's a lot of guys that we know who they are because they're part of this Mark Spears collecting community where everybody's going, hey, did you get this one? I'm still looking for this one. I didn't get this one yet. If anybody has one, let me know. Oh, I got that one. Oh man, check this out. Did you know that he did this? That's mainly what is going on here. I don't think that the people that are selling them early, it's a money thing. It's a money grab. And we're hoping that they don't get sold early because we don't want to spoil it. Some of those covers, nobody knows what the covers are on some of them yet. Now they do because, you know, it's been spoiled. It's a bummer.
The email, wait, they bought it from KeenSpot. Wait, didn't KeenSpot send an email? They're so fucking ass backwards. They're just upset that they didn't get their bags first, that somebody else is ripping and shipping before they are. That's right, losers. You lost. They won. That's what this hobby is all about, guys. I've learned. FOMO is real, and if you're late to the party, then you're late to the party. It's all about being first here in this comic book community.
That depends on what you want from the comic book community. What are you trying to get from this comic book community? One of the things that I say all the time is that we're under one big, huge circus tent, but there are thousands of tent poles holding up that circus tent. And we all hang around our little tent poles. Sometimes we'll go to another tent pole and help them hold theirs up, but we usually go back to our own tent pole like that, where we're hanging out. Some of us hangs out around the big cats. Some of us hang around the elephant. Some of us like clowns. Some of us like popcorn. You know what I mean? There's comics. There's some people that love reading, period. They're just there to read. They don't care about secondary market. They don't care about condition. There's some people that just collect. They just collect there because they've been reading that, you know, when they were a kid, and they have an uninterrupted run, and maybe they don't even read a run anymore, and they're just collecting it. There's some people that flip, you know, to get better items. There's some people that like comics, but they're not huge collectors or anything. They're just making a living off of it. And then there's little parts that do both and that help each other. There's so many different temples. For the people there's very few people that FOMO affects them in the whole, under the whole tent of comics. And I think for the most part, that FOMO is based, I could be wrong, in kind of the flipper world. The people that are, you know, scared that they're not going to get to the market first. That's what's going on here. It's big money. If you get to the market first on these blind bags, you pay $5.99 for them. You're going to sell them for $25 plus. So that's big money. Now, in the scheme of things, is it big money? Oh, you got $1,000 come up. You had a sale. You sold a bunch of books. You made $1,000. But nope. Now you're going to get dinged by Lunar. You're not going to get your books early anymore. You're not going to be able to buy anymore from KeenSpot. And now your relationship with not only KeenSpot, Lunar, and Mark are all hampered. And there's no long-term game there anymore because you wanted to get the short come up. I think that's what it is.
So if you're not first, then you're last. And Sleeping Giants was first. They have theirs. Guess what? Because they probably bought thousands of them.
Wrong. Sleeping Giants was not a retailer. They did not buy thousands of them.
Thousands of them. I bought 16 and I can't wait to get mine in the mail. I'm excited. They probably bought thousands of them. They're probably one of Lunar's, KeenSpots, whoever they bought from.
Wrong. Absolutely wrong.
Major buyers, right? So if you're buying a lot of shit from KeenSpot, the fucking distributor, you know, the major dope dealer out in Colombia, if you're buying directly from that guy's not going to get pissed that you're releasing the product ahead of time. You know, fuck no.
Wrong. KeenSpot is very angry. Chris Crosby at KeenSpot is very angry. And KeenSpot is not the distributor. They're the publisher. The distributor is Lunar. And Lunar didn't send these out. These were sent out by KeenSpot from the people that bought from KeenSpot. It's a weird thing. Most publishers don't do it. Some publishers do. In the world we live in now, where it's not necessary to have certain middlemen in this industry, this is what you get.
The job of the distributor is to make as much money as fast as possible, to get out as much product as fast as possible, as soon as possible.
No.
You think that KingSpot or even Lunar is going to slap them on the wrist? You think they're gonna? You think Lunar's gonna say, "Hey, you know what? I'm not gonna distribute you anymore." No, hell no. I think one of the rules that was broken, and one of the consequences was that they're just not gonna get their shit early. You're not gonna get your shit a week early or 2 weeks early or whatever it is. These are whatnot retailers, guys. These are not brick and mortars. They don't need to
He's right about this.
get their shit weeks ahead of time. They don't need to sit there and break shit down. These are not brick and mortars. They don't need to get their shit weeks ahead of time. They don't need to sit there and break shit down. They're rocking and rolling as soon as they get that product in. Sleeping Giants is a huge retailer.
He's wrong.
It's not going to hurt them. Matter of fact, I guarantee you that they're not even going to get a slap in the wrist.
They're not even a retailer.
Why would you? If you're a dope dealer and one of your biggest buyers comes to you and they release their product a little bit ahead of time, are you going to say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to sell my product to you, or at least I'm not going to give it to you ahead of time anymore? Fuck no. That guy.
I think he's wrong on this because Lunar's not a dope dealer. They're a comic dealer. And they don't want to piss off the rest of their people. Because if you're giving your let's go, if you want to play in this drug explanation game, okay, you're the dope dealer. You've got 10 dealers that are dealing on the same corner, the same product. You give one of those dealers their product earlier, what are those other dope dealers going to do? They're going to freaking be pissed. They're going to be pissed because now all their customers are going to that dealer. It's this to me is not the way to look at it, because you got to remember, you can't piss off everybody by doing this. That's why this is a problem, because it's the same problem that happens when retailers on the East Coast get it before retailers on the West Coast. All the retailers on the West Coast are like, damn, that sucks, because all their buyers on online buyers are going to buy from the people on the East Coast instead of buying from them, and now they're not going to sell as many. So it's yeah.
He's buying major quantities off you, bro. It's all about this, the mighty dollar. So if you're crying out there that these guys got theirs first because you didn't, there's some alternative motives behind what's happening here, guys. Play the clip.
But everybody that was going to do the midnight releases, all the retailers that were going to sell comics at New York, my plans at New York were totally Mark Spears Monsters,
here we go,
Monster and the Wolf based. I was going to give out 100 bags and film every single one of those being open. Every single one of those got canceled, right? When this happened, because basically a printer has a problem and they feel that they can't give the product the best randomization that they can, so they want extra time.
So he's upset. It's content creator here.
Content creator used to be my homie Brian McClay at Beyond Wednesdays. What? Let's go to that again. Hold on here.
So he's upset. It's content creator here. Upset that he couldn't hand out 100 bags of Mark Spears and he wanted to videotape it for his channel. So
you're a fucking idiot, Razor. You are a moron. Who is telling you this stuff? Because if you're watching my content, you would know it's not true. It wasn't for my channel, you idiot. It's promotion for Mark. It was going to be promotion. For those of you guys that don't know, I've talked about this on my channel multiple times. When I went to San Diego, when we all went to San Diego and we saw that, kind of what was going on with KeenSpot at San Diego, there wasn't as much promotion as there should have been at San Diego. And we felt like, hey, there needs to be a little bit more promotion. They didn't promote the blind bags at all. I mean, barely. If there would have been more promotion for the blind bags, there was a lot of stores, a lot of brick and mortar shops that had no idea this was happening. If there was more promotion for these things, they would have done 400 plus, in my opinion. So I asked Mark, I said, hey, is KeenSpot doing anything for New York? No, they're not doing anything. They don't have a table, nothing. Let me help out, because you need, they're not going to, are they going to promote your December bags? No, there's nothing planned. Okay, let's promote your December bags. What we'll do is we'll give out free bags at New York. I'll videotape all the people opening with those bags, the excitement of what they get, and then we'll give that to KeenSpot to put on their socials, to send to people, and we'll farm that material. I wasn't going to use it for myself. It wasn't going to be for the channel. Why would I? I'm sitting on con footage from the last 4 cons. Have you seen any of that on my channel? None of it. That's not my gig. This was going to be for Mark and KeenSpot. This was going to go to Mark's IG and go to KeenSpot's IG and go on KeenSpot's page, and that's what it was. This wasn't for my channel. He's talking about other motives. This sounds like sour grapes a little bit here to me.
The guy's just upset that he wasn't able to release. He wanted to videotape it for his channel.
This.
Bags.
Hold on here.
Upset that he's upset. It's content creator here. Upset that he couldn't hand out 100 bags of Mark Spears, and he wanted to videotape it for his channel. So the guy's just upset that he wasn't able to release this on a launch date that he wanted to do in New York Comic Con or whatever. So because he couldn't release and give away 100 blind bags to you guys, he's upset at a retailer that got their blind bags first, who out there making their money. Now,
wow, Razor. Wow. When did this happen all of a sudden, now that I'm not, hey, my homie Brian McClay, I don't know. We haven't talked much lately. Maybe he's butthurt. He was really butthurt that in his mind, I was taking more of Lopez's side, which wasn't true. I liked them both. I was always hoping that they were going to do something together. And now, instead of him saying, oh, my homie, Brian McClay, be on Wednesdays, now it's the content creator, and that I'm upset. Why would I be upset at this retailer because now I can't give out my bags? My life at New York Comic Con is going to be easy now. I get to go just chill, hang out, have a good time, check out New York, get to see Midtown Manhattan. I've never been to Manhattan. I get to maybe go see a Rangers game now. I am stoked. I feel bad for Mark, and I feel bad for KeenSpot that now we can't get that good promotional material. It had nothing to do with my channel. That's fucking weak sauce, Razor. Really fucking weak, bro.
I'm gonna let you guys know straight up right now. Sleeping Giants, get your money. Anybody in this comic book game, get your money. It's not your fault that you're released to you early. Hell, if you didn't get an email, then you get an email. If you did and you still broke the rules, who gives a fuck? Straight up. Because this has been happening over and over and over and over again. And now you guys are crying about it? Where were you guys out on local comic book shop day when that?
Razor, this is a whole different ball game. Local comic shop day has nothing to do with blind bags. Nothing. What the fuck are you talking about, bro?
Shit was being released, and I was watching that shit on Whatnot ahead of time, and I knew what was going to happen. I knew that was already released. Nobody said anything because they were happy buying them ahead of time. We were happy. Great, I could get to this a couple days early. Awesome. I don't got to go to my local comic book shop. Nobody said nothing.
See? Right there. He just said it. That's not good for the industry. That is not good for the hobby. Making it so your comic book shop goes out of business does not help the comic book hobby. Does not help the comic book industry.
A couple days early? Awesome. I don't got to go to my local comic book shop. Nobody said nothing. And that is hurting the industry as a whole. This is hurting one artist, maybe a...
Are you a fucking idiot, bro? This is hurting one artist? You're a moron, bro. Holy shit. Man, I guess I'm glad I'm now just this content creator. Wow, bro. Wow. A2 Brute.
Content creator and a whole Discord group, a whole cult member. Guys, there is a Discord server, a group, whatever the fuck you call it. I don't know. I'm too old to be on this shit. And they grown men, older than me, my age, middle-aged men, that are basically alerted to the fact that there's a seller on Whatnot selling their best, but their guy's product ahead of time. They were quick to jump. There are people in this Discord server constantly like, bro, I'm single, so I have some time on my hand, but I don't have time for that. Eat, work, smoke, tons of weed, read comic books, have sex every once in a while. When do you have time to be on Discord, let alone all day, and able to be at the same time on Whatnot and on the Discord server at the same time to catch that shit? Who the fuck has the time for that shit, bro?
A lot of people, obviously. I mean, Discord wouldn't be around otherwise.
And another thing, if you're hating on these guys and saying, well, if he pulls a 1 of 1 out of these 13, there's 13 1 of 1s, do not honor it. Mark Spears couldn't honor it if they ripped and shit before the date. Get the fuck out of here. Better honor that shit. As a matter of fact, I want to see some rip videos now. If you got a rip video, post the shit out of that. I want to see what you got. If I had my shit right now, I'd be ripping it. Go, fuck, bro. This is what that hobby has told me. This hobby has taught me about FOMO. And if you're not first, you are last to the party. And these guys are upset that
these guys. What happened here, man? Are you really that butthurt, Razor, that I am friends with Darth Lopez? Are you really that butthurt, bro? Wow. Wow.
they weren't first to the party. That's what's happening here. You're just upset you were not first to the party. You're a Discord, a Mark Spears groupie. And
I'm not part of the Discord, and none of the guys on the show are, other than Leg and John.
And you guys got upset. That's all. You know what I mean? It's let's call it what it is. Your feelings got hurt because you couldn't release 100 blind bags and record it and ship it out and show your friends and your buddies, and you guys couldn't get on your Mark Spears cult Discord server without.
Wow, this is big time sour grapes to me. I didn't realize Razor was that mad about me being friends with Darth Lopez. I didn't realize that I got into this point where now I'm no longer the homie Brian McClay Beyond Wednesdays. I'm the content creator that is butthurt and part of a cult.
What are these guys doing all day? Are they sitting around and just talking about Mark Spears all day? Check out my Mark Spears Monsters. I paid $40 to get this one signed. And this, like, what are you guys talking about in this Discord server? That sounds kind of creepy to me. I'll be straight up. If I was Mark Spears, I would be I'm not sure if I'd be checking in on this Discord server. I'd be kind of scared to be affiliated with what's going on. These people love him so much that they created a server dedicated to him, a group, whatever the fuck you call it.
Razor, you are more of an idiot than I thought, man. That's the whole thing about comic book fandom. There's that saying that you create a product, and if your product has enough fans, like 200 fans, then you can create a viable business out of it. People enjoy artists. Look, go to Facebook. How many groups are there? Rob Liefeld group, Todd McFarlane group, Garbage Pail Kids group. I bet you Razor's, he's a Garbage Pail Kids fan now all of a sudden. I bet you he's part of a Garbage Pail Kids group. I'll wait till the end of this video to say what I'm going to say.
And they're quick to jump into action, like the fucking 5 action team, 5 on your side guy. This is Pete McGuffin with 5 on your side. The Mark Spears Blindbag is being released ahead of schedule. Take a look at these rippers that are ripping right now and shipping. God forbid, everybody quickly gather around. Fucking Trolltrons is what happened. Oh, you fucking Trolltrons unite. Well, I'm looking for a Trolltron, bro. A Mark Spears Trolltron. That's crazy. Now, guys, blind bags are fun. They are real. Do not overreact. And God forbid, don't be jealous about some other people that are making their money. Sleeping Giants is a huge stream. Razor
is an idiot, bro. He does not know what he's talking about 90% of the time. It's unreal.
Shout out to Sleeping Giants. Shout out to Whatnot. They do an amazing job over there. Get
They
your
do do
money.
amazing job
If
at
you
whitewashing.
broke the rules and you chose to, you know what the consequences are. You don't need these guys fucking with you, telling you, you know what? If you ban somebody from your show, it's your show. Shout out. Get your money. Let these guys whine about it. And if you got some blind bags, please show the video, rip and ship.
Yeah, okay. I guess we're on the fuck Razor bandwagon now. Holy shit. That was weak sauce, dude. Man, that's a bummer. Well, okay, so here's the thing. Behind the scenes, Razor has been talked about incessantly about being a fake. He's an actor in this community. Now, I said for the longest time, no, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He's a new collector in this community. He's trying to find his way. If you see when I first brought him on Beyond Wednesdays back in the day, that's kind of what I say. It's fun to watch him through his eyes. But now it's gotten to the point where he's just a hater, and he acts like he knows things that he doesn't know. This Sleeping Giants guy is not a big retailer. He didn't get these because he's a retailer. He got these because he ordered them from KeenSpot's website that anybody could do. Like, what are you talking about? And he probably paid full price for him. He didn't get I bet you he didn't even get a retailer a benefit of only paying $3.99 for it. So one, Razor is a phony. Now this proves to me that he's a phony. You know, for the longest time, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, I don't know the guy very well. He's another state 48er, so, you know, I give him a little bit of respect. I thought him, you know, I was really cool, looking forward to him and Lopez maybe having a cool show. And he's just really self-destructed, man. I think he tries to hop on each group, and when he can't hop on each group or can't ladder hop, he kind of self-destruct. And now I'm no longer the homie Brian McClay of Beyond Wednesdays. I'm this content creator who's butthurt. You know what I'm butthurt about? I'm butthurt about your fucking flip-flopping, bro. I'm butthurt that you acted like my homie. I'm butthurt that now I am on the freaking dartboard. Like, that's what I'm butthurt about. And it'll be interesting to see how this plays out now. I'm sure Red Hood saw this. I'm sure the rest of the guys saw this. Well, no, I'm not. What am I talking about? How many views does this have? 58 views. So I apologize. And I'm not saying that as a numbers guy. I think that talking shit about numbers is cheesy. I'm not talking about numbers, but the guys probably haven't even seen this yet. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to put it on my post on my community wall, and they'll see it now. So, man, I was hoping on going on here just to see a video on what he thought about the whole thing. Well, we saw what he thought about the whole thing. A2 Brute. Holy shit. All right, let's go look in on some recent community comments. I love to go in and look at community comments on shows, on the content. By the way, we just crossed the 4,000 sub mark. We started Beyond Wednesdays. When did we start? Let me go see here. Let's go to analytics. Let's see, when did we start? Let's go content. Lifetime. All right, here we go. We started, wow, 9.8 million impressions. When did we start? Let's see here. We started in, I created the channel in February. Our first video was, let's go to videos. Shout out to Kyle. Prayers and thoughts, brother. Let's see here. It looks like our first video was March of 2022. March of 2022. So we're a little over 3 years, you guys. And now we are at 4,000 subs. Oh, here we go. Lifetime. So where did we start? We started March 12th. March 18th is when we started. Nope, that's 2024. Is this Lifetime? Oh yeah, 2020. I don't know what 0 monthly audience. Okay, subscribers. There we go. So that's when we started. March 18th, 2022. Pretty cool. Pretty awesome. All right, let's go into the community. Let's go look at some recent comments. All right. All right, this is I put up a post saying that we got to 4,000 subs, so we got a lot of congratulations. What up, dudes? Heroes Reborn, that's him commenting on the Mark Spears stuff. Lewis congratulating me. Jesse congratulating me. These are all congrats. The irony that Sean, a prior Marine, doesn't understand the G.I. Joe mission to stop Cobra. This is coming from an Army soldier, by the way. Go Joe. That was because, shout out to Sean who dodged Go, former Marine that wasn't really a G.I. Joe guy, and more a Transformer guy. So he's kind of giving him shit about that. Did you just call out Dennis for selling fake Labubus? No, Dennis has openly admitted he sells the Lafufus, as he calls them. Darthside says, there is no machine that can randomize blind bags. To randomize that amount or any amount, it has to be done before bagging or after bagging. To randomize that amount, you need at least 2 months minimum to do it correctly. Next time this is done, FOC must be 2 months in advance. I would still deal with this printer because they will learn from it this time. And he's talking, of course, about the printer problems. And I agree with him. I agree. Shout out to Kyle Tuttle for being part of the replay crew. Luis says, great conversation. Let's see here. Man, I'm so glad. Okay, here we go. Man, I'm so glad you talked about the delay. I never received a notification of the change. Luckily, watching this helped me change my leave from work, and even planning was going to make a large whatnot stream for it. See, that's what I mean. I think most people get their news from social media and content these days. I think there was some collusion in the deal before the bankruptcy was filed. Okay, so this is talking about the Diamond bankruptcy, this Action Figuratorium. I think there was some collusion in the deal before the bankruptcy was filed. The stalking horse bid itself, in hindsight, looks suspicious. Alliance Entertainment ended up throwing a wrench into the works. The question is, why even file if they had no intention of accepting the bids? Yeah, the whole thing with Diamond is crazy. If you guys haven't seen the interview, we interviewed Bruce Ogilvie, the chairman for Alliance Entertainment, the night of the announcement that Alliance Entertainment had put in the largest bid to win the auction for Diamond in the bankruptcy auction. And we interviewed them. The next morning we got a call from them and their lawyers saying, hey, we'd like you to take this down for at least 3 more days until the deal is finalized, because I'm sure they were worried about a couple of things said in that interview that might change a deal. So I removed it from that show. Well, now we know in hindsight, man, that was the best thing that ever happened for Alliance not winning the bid, because it's a complete shit show. They ended up taking their bid out, and so now we just put the interview back up 7 months later. Alliance didn't do their homework up front. The owner could have easily reached out to folks in the industry before making any bids. Bruce really should come back on the show and apologize for getting everyone excited about the purchase only to pull out. I don't blame him a bit, Warriors, but we were excited. I still think they would have done better job than Sparkle Pop and Universal, but good for them. They got what they wanted. They got employees, they got the knowledge, and they don't have to spend money for it. Wormhole Comics and Cards says, this is talking about street dates. There has always been rules at Lunar regarding street date. Retailers have never been allowed to display or otherwise do anything early, but normally no one cares if you show tomorrow Superman cover today or talk about tomorrow's storyline today. Have 90-ish covers and blind bags on one of the year's most hyped books does lend to the more scrutiny on retailers. I'm not sure why anyone is surprised. A couple of years ago, Lunar sent me this week's and next week's releases at once, which they had never done before. And I didn't realize it, so I put everything out for sale. I took the normal this week's releases picture and posted them on socials. I got some comments from a customer about the mistake and then took them down next week's ballots, but then Lunar had already been informed and sent me an email about street date and all that. Then I stopped getting boxes earlies for a few weeks. See, there is consequences. I told them their abnormal shipping pattern, but they didn't care. They said, look at the invoice included in the box, which has the release dates. It was a minor inconvenience for a few weeks, but I have paid attention to every delivery since. See, there's a perfect example. Just like Trolls Comics says, if there is a rule and I break the rule, let me know that the rule's there and I didn't see it. Slap me on the wrist. If I don't break it again, that's how it should be. Shout out to Andrew Tarasov, who we were talking about his amazing remarks at LA Comic-Con on this show, and he chimed in. He says, thank you guys so much for the love. And I told him, you keep killing those remarks like you did, you're going to get a ton more love from a bunch more peeps. And he said, sounds awesome. He's a good dude. I really hope he does well. He seems like a good dude. I don't know him, but he's a really good artist, good creator. Here's another artist creator. This is Monkey Mouth. I thought he was from the Netherlands. In this show, we were talking about his we have a variant with him for Something's Killing the Children that he did a really good job on. The new Something's Killing the Children comic that reprints all the stories that were in Hello Darkness. He says, I'm not in the Netherlands, but I'm in Denmark. I said, much love, brother. Looking forward to getting you on a show sometime. Keep killing it. And he says, man, gonna be fun. David Posner on the blind bags topic. He says, anticipation is the best part. You all do what you have to do and make sure it's all perfect. Degenerate DNA says, Mark did an amazing job with those blind bags. Only problem I see with them is the way the golden tickets are just placed in the books. You can hold the book on the sides and shake it to easily hear the sound in the blind bag. Maybe next blind bags print the golden ticket in the comic itself. Then you don't have anything sliding around the bag. Plus it adds value to the comic as another variant. Amazing job to all involved, though. I'm sure it was a ton of work. Great comment. There's Darth Lopez. He says, replay squad. Man, I'm catching a lot of heat from being a friend with you, Lopez. We might have to rethink our friendship, bro. Nah, much love, brother. Keep it up. Rays 1548 says, I hope you do an eBay Live event someday. It would be cool if there was one day a month where the entire Beyond Wednesdays crew did back-to-back shows, each one ending and the next guy's show begins. I just got onboarded at eBay Live, so maybe we'll be able to do like something like that. Shout out to a blind Adam. He says, thank you for the awesome and amazing show. Thank you for your friendship, love, and support. Love you, brother. One of the good guys. Metal Elf Comics says, great channel. Keep it up. I especially love all the different aspects you guys cover, from creators, industry players, retailers, and everyone in between. Respect. Thank you, brother. Mike Edding said, I pre-ordered the Steve Beach 1 in 25 Cold Slithers. Cover is so boss. I agree. The Cold Slither, both the Steve Beach covers are great. All the covers are great for that book. Death Over Decaf says, Brian, I checked my email. Lunar did not email me. I reached out to them and didn't get a reply. That's another thing. So they said they sent emails, and all the retailers I talked to said they got emails, but If you're not getting emails, that's a problem. You need to check your settings and also figure it out if there's something going on with Lunar. Like, that's an issue for sure. That sucks, bro. This guy says, don't forget, if you break street date, it's your fault. LOL. Yeah, I think this guy's just a hater. So who knows? He's giving them shit for something. Frank Garcia, I think the only deadline that matters is Halloween day. If this comes out in November, that would be the only disaster. Amen. Let's hope it comes out before Halloween, which it will. Shout out to Volsey. Tony, 1984, LA says, was at the Return of the Living Dead panel at LA Comic Con. It's going to be sick. Hell yeah. That looks good. MF Comic Villain says, Dennis, do you think Michigan is a low spending consumer state where people don't always have an expendable income? Sounds like Ohio is a better market. So that was the context of that is Dennis just opened a third store. His other two stores are in Michigan. This store that he just opened is in Ohio. Luke says, thanks for snipping the market report into its own segment. Always enjoy watching it within the main show. Yeah, so I started doing that again, where I snipped the market report from Wednesday night show and released that on Friday night before the House of Stein Hot 10. I'm going to try to continue doing that. G Money says, nice show. Totally bummed out about the blind bags delay. Malcolm says, great show. JXX says there's no such thing as a Venom 3 Molina variant that's a newsstand. They stopped making newsstands in 2013. Come on, bro, wake up. I don't know, bro. A lot of people, I know that's the date that they think, but there are newsstands that are during 2013. There are newsstands. Because I used to think that too. Some of the guys that are part of the Beyond Wednesdays crew are newsstands aficionados, man. Shout out to Mike Hansen. He just created his own. He created a new webpage, snikt.com. That's the Wolverine sound, SNIKT.com. It's all about original art, and it's really good. And Mike Hansen is the OG when it comes to doing deep dives on, modern newsstands. He knows everything, man. With Diamond changing their name, they are planning a bankruptcy down the line. Yeah, the people who bought Diamond changed the name to Diamond 2. Cheesy. Tony says, Jale Holmes. I gave him a response with just the low glasses. Deadpool Batman reminds me of his awesome Xena cover. That's from Chris Greaves. The CCB says, I had our Marvel Penguin order not go through twice this year. Huge hassle learning I'm not getting that week's comics 2 days before release. Yeah. Yep, I've heard similar stories on that. Shout out to Mercenaut, one of the best, the OG when it comes to pickup shows on YouTube. He's been doing pickup shows forever. He is the original comic pickup show guy. And I've always looked up to Carter, a.k.a. Mercenaut. He's one of the reasons that we got him on Flipside is, I said, we got to get Carter on Flipside. And he is one of the best content creator and collectors in this game. He says, appreciate the love. I found those G.I. Joe Renegar Michael Turner variants for 25 cents each. Still can't believe it. That's amazing. Those are Grail covers. The Michael Turner G.I. Joe number 21 Renegar covers are Grail books for G.I. Joe fans and for Michael Turner fans. Action Figuratorium says, keep the Diamond news coming. Shout out to Eggplant. He says, I'm guessing Mark Spears was hinting at Kickstarter books being in the blind bags. Just a wild guess. Wouldn't that be awesome? So here's where that topic comes up. So when we were first talking about creating the blind bags, we were like, Clutch had just done his Battle Beast trading packs on eBay, and Clutch set the standard for the 3-pack blind bag packs. You get a variant you can only get in the blind bags. You get a hit, which can be either a sketch cover or an old book, and then you get one of the books that's coming out, from that series. And the hits in the Battle Beast blind bags were either a sketch cover or an original Invincible book from the original run from Robert Kirkman's collection, which was awesome. So even a number one, Invincible number one, was in those blind bags. So when we were coming up with the blind bag idea for Monsters, me and Mark were like, man, you know what we should do? We should make one of the hits that you can get in them like a Kickstarter book, because everybody wants one of those Kickstarter books. And if Mark puts one of the Kickstarter books in there, that would be amazing. It's kind of hard to do that for these ones, but I know Mark is talking about maybe doing a hobby version of the blind bags at some point where there's like more than one book in them. He'll probably sell those on his eBay Live or something, and putting some of those old school books in there. Shout out to MJ Comics. He says, one of my favorite YouTube channels. Ditto, brother. Keep up the good work. This is in terms to whether the fourth quarter in the comic retail business is tough. Comicstopia says March, December, and November are the best months of the years for him. Over the years, I've always heard that for people that sell on eBay and online, that the December, November, October dates are always tough because people are, the holidays and stuff. So they aren't spending money on comics, they're spending money on other things. But some retailers said it's the best time of the year. Ray says, I just got my copy of X-Men #1, the 63 cover. I couldn't afford the original, so I got a cover. I got the cover printed on an Oz Silver Age on an ounce of silver by a Goro Mint, LOL. It's actually pretty cool. Oh, that's crazy. Anyone see that G.I. Joe Cold Slither 125 incentive? So fire. Yep. Hell yeah. Magic the Gathering is a gamble. The Spider-Man collector boxes are already crashing. I don't know, man. I saw that a sale of the foil Soul Stone the other day sold for 24 grand. So I would love to see if they continued crashing or not. Let me know, Chris. Shout out to Comics and Sneakers. He says, I need the metal and the foil. He's talking about our sold out Sveta Shabina book. I've had so many people reach out to me asking me if there's any way they can get a copy of the Sveta Shabina variant, even though they sold out. I mean, probably 40 people have reached out saying, hey, is there any way that you can get me some? And I'm like, sorry, they are sold out. I think I only got a set for myself, one set, and everything else is gone. There were some damages. I just got them in the mail today. I opened up one of my boxes. Looks like it got just dropped right on the corner, and all those books on that side all have damages. So we're gonna see how that plays out. What a bummer. Mad Respect says, just curious, has the Monster and the Wolf Kickstarter been fulfilled, or will we have it, or will have it been by the 10-8 blind bags? Bad idea. Just finished FOC for Save Now, and my Kickstarter reward is nowhere near in sight. Ugh. Okay, so a lot of people have asked this. Mark has had problem with the printer also on the Kickstarter stuff, so it got pushed back a week. But I believe he's just getting them. He's going to be just getting them. So I think the blind bags for issue #1 of Monster and Wolf obviously will come out before it gets fulfilled. But you got to remember, the Kickstarter is all 3 issues. So yeah, issue 1 will come out before the Kickstarter, but you'll get the other 3 before 2 and 3 of the retailer. That's the problem sometimes. Mark said he was going to hopefully fulfill it by the end of September. It's only the 7th of October, so he's only 7 days behind right now. And I get it. Some of these Kickstarters are years behind. It's a bummer. But Mark's really good at fulfilling his Kickstarters. The CCB says, I'm down with Absolute Wonder Woman. It's my favorite of the Absolutes. That's because I was talking, I didn't really like Wonder Woman as much as I like the Absolute Superman and Batman, but I know a lot of people like it. I just didn't like it. Mr. Norman Osborne says, I ordered 75 copies of Absolute Batman. I have about 8 for the shelf. I'm located in Valparaiso, Indiana. We are considered a suburb of Chicago. Most of our buyers are getting it for the story. This is because I talked about how I think that most people that buy comics, or most comics that are bought now, are not read because of all the variants, and most people don't read their or a lot of people don't read their comics. So I think that most comics that are bought nowadays, even back issue comics, aren't read. So I said to him, do you order many of the second, third, and fourth printings? And he said, order any reprint of this book, and all Absolute all the time. Batman is our most popular, followed by Wonder Woman and Supes. Our customers tell us they just want to fill in the gaps so they can read the story. Can't find the first prints and don't want to pay for the cover price. Our trade paperbacks for Absolute Batman sold out immediately. Even the hardcovers did too, and we don't sell hardcovers very well. I feel most of them are reading, but we never really know. Maybe I should pull them. Chip Smith says, I just wanted to say I love the show and what it is for the fan that's interested in the industry itself. Appreciate you all. Also, I got to see Jesse at the Daytona Beach Comic Con a couple of weekends ago and chat a couple of minutes. Just wondering if he picked up anything substantial on the pallet of boxes he was carting around. One last thing, it's refreshing to see an artist like Mark that is not just humble to how successful he became, but he's a fan of and a collector too. Thanks again, everyone. Yeah, Mark, that's why that saying came around that Mark's one of us. I mean, he really is. He owned a comic store and ran a comic store. He grew up a comic fan. He's a comic artist and loves collecting comics and reading, and he's one of us. Cover Lover says, I've been a listener for a long time. You are appreciated. I said ditto. Shout out to Painey. He says, great show as always, crew. Didn't catch the live, but I just finished watching on the rewind. Thanks to James for the discount codes on those Frism books. I've ordered mine. I have 2 OA pieces from Jonathan Knight now. His work is outstanding. Yeah, shout out to James at Hive. He had a variant for the Marian Heretic Jenny Frism black and white, and he put up a pre-sale on our Wednesday night show and gave a discount code. And anybody that used the discount code, 20% of that sale went to Beyond Wednesdays, which was awesome. Appreciate all you guys. All right, let's see here. Final one. This is for a hater. He says, it's sad how you spend half your shows now pushing your exclusive or ones by your friends. You guys have become exactly what you used to make fun of. And then one guy says, you obviously don't understand these guys. How about you just go and watch another show on YouTube and not push some bitchy agenda with your expectations? And then another person responds to that guy and says, or you could let the guy have his opinion and feelings and not make this comment. So I responded and I said, we've actually been pushing Hive exclusives since the Flipside days. We've always supported our friends because they've supported us since day one, and that won't change. As for our own exclusives, that's how we cover the cost of making this content. StreamYard alone is $90 a month. Adobe Cloud is $70 a month, and the time we put in is priceless. By doing a few exclusives a year, we can offset those costs while also collaborating with creators we've discovered and truly believe in. I hear you loud and clear, but I hope you can see from our side too. And then the original poster says, I can understand how some of the costs can be offset, but it's not like you guys aren't getting massive connections and freebies from artists and sellers and customers coming to your auctions doing these shows. Plus the super chats and memberships and all of that. You guys used to give Hive and Burst City a quick plug whenever they had something big coming, but ever since San Diego, you've spent half of your shows hyping up and pushing your exclusive. Clutch exclusives, Stein's exclusives, Spears Blindbags, etc. It feels like overkill to me, especially since you guys used to talk all the time about how too many exclusives are ruining comics. Remember when Spears made a big deal a few months back about how he didn't want to become overexposed? Now he's got like 7,000 new covers coming out in the next few months. Crazy. And I responded and I said, I'd honestly love to know what freebies you think we're getting. If you're imagining boxes of stuff I can just flip for profit, that's not the reality. I pay for 90% of what I sell on live shows. Sure, I might get a couple free autos here and there, but it's nowhere near worth the time and effort that goes into this channel. To be real with you, all the super chats and member chats combined add up to about $300 to $400 a month. This channel is a full-time job and then some. And we keep it going by offsetting costs through exclusives and partnerships. At the end of the day, if you're not paying the dollar membership fee or buying cheap books in a sale, the content is free for you to enjoy. Enjoy it. And I want to comment more on this. For anybody out there that thinks YouTube channels make a lot of money, they don't. It is a lot of work. So I do 4 live shows a week. Each live show is anywhere from 2 to 4 hours long. The prep for those shows take anywhere from 2 to 4 hours that day. Okay. So think about that. That's 8 hours of show time and prep time for each show that I do. I also have to keep up on all this shit, right? To actually talk about it, which is fine because I love it, but that's a lot of work. I left my corporate America job. You know, I was space and defense engineering for 15 years. I ran an engineering test lab for a big space and defense company. I worked on the Hubble telescope, the Orion program, many big black rated programs. I did that for 15 years. I left corporate America because I thought, hey, I want to create something and do something that I love. I want to work in the world of collectibles and comics. And this is my niche. I'm trying to build something here that not only I can live on, but I can have fun doing. I get it that if you think that we're always talking about our variants. And I'm cognizant to that. I don't plan on doing tons of variants. At the most 10 a year, at the most. And the plan is to do them before big cons, right? 3 weeks before San Diego, we'll push the San Diego variants for our friends and us. 3 weeks before New York Comic Con, we'll do the same. Here's the other thing. All of the Beyond Wednesdays crew variants that we do, every single one of them, I'm going to do my best to make sure they're below 500 print count. When I talk about variants or back in the day, variants are ruining the industry, it wasn't about how everybody at retailer exclusives are doing them. It was about the print count being so high. 3,000, that's ridiculous for a special collectible book. It doesn't make them collectible anymore. That was mainly my point. Now, when it comes to Mark not being overexposed, Mark's whole point was always to do something special for Halloween and the month of October, November, and December. And this is something that he always wanted to do. Now, what will be his thing going on in the future? He's already stopped doing exclusives for retailers. He doesn't do retailer exclusives anymore. Very few, if any. Like, you don't see a ton of retailers getting his books anymore. I don't think Bird City does them anymore. Comic Tom, Davis Ryder, you don't see him anymore because Mark is not doing that. If he releases a variant, he's going to release it through his own stuff. He is working on Spawn 77 right now. All the covers you see of Mark, the vast majority of them were created years ago when he was creating the original Monsters art. He's sitting on a lot of that. He creates a lot of new ones, but I think the majority of the covers we've seen for variants of Monsters in the last year are stuff that he created, you know, when he was trying to break into the industry. So I get it if you don't like us talking about selling a book, but the vast majority of the books that we do sell or that we do create, it's by creators that we're friends with and that we love and that we fall in love with. And that's fun to me. So I'm going to continue to do it. But I get it if you don't like it, you know, that's fine. The majority of the content we create is free For those of you guys that are watching this right now, I appreciate you. This is members only content, and you guys are amazing. But if you're somebody that doesn't watch the members, isn't part of the members group, or doesn't join in on my whatnot sales, all the other stuff is free. 90% of the content I create is free. So, that's a lot of content. I don't get tons of super chats. I don't get, tons of $300 to $400 a month is a big month for me, So, yeah. All right. Good shit, you guys. I'm getting ready to go to New York. I'm a little bummed that Razor kind of taking some real digs. I mean, some big digs. Big digs. I'm no longer the homie Brian McClay at Beyond Wednesdays. I'm this content creator that's butthurt. And Razor doesn't know what he's talking about. Has no fucking clue what he's talking about. And it's a bummer because, I was hoping to be friends with him and collaborate with him, but that all fell out the wayside when he felt like I was showing too much love to Darth Lopez and not enough love to him. And that's cheesy to me. So it is what it is, but appreciate you guys. And if there's anything you want to see more in members only content, if you guys want to do maybe some members only panels, stuff like that, we'll figure that out. But thank you for rocking with Beyond Wednesdays, and let us know what you think in the comments. I want to know your thought process on the whole thing that's happened to the blind bags up until the release. After the release, it's a whole new ball game. So we'll see you there. If you're going to be in New York, hit me up. I'm going to be hanging out, chilling. Adios.